Welcome back to the Pathway to Prayer. My name is Drew, and today we are exploring Psalm 109. And this is one of those parts of the Bible that I think it's really interesting that this has even been included, because the emotion is really raw, and it's very real, and it deals with anger, which I think all of us deal with in different ways, on different levels, and for different reasons. And so today I want us to explore a little bit of why we get angry. And we know sometimes it's like, I get more angry because I'm too tired, I'm too stressed, I'm too hungry. I mean, we've coined the word hangry, right? For when I know most of my anger is my hunger. But there are also other reasons that feed into that. Like there's something under the surface that we are responding to. And that's what we find in Psalm 109. And so to help us explore that, if you look at page 36, question number 1 just asks simply, look at the reasons David lists for his anger in Psalm 109. If you were in his position, would you feel your anger was justified? Okay, so let's do that. If you flip back a couple of pages, the Psalms are also printed in this booklet, and he basically gives all of the reasons in verses 2 through 5. He says there, "For the mouth of the wicked and the mouth of the deceitful have opened against me. They have spoken against me with a lying tongue. They've also surrounded me with words of hatred and fought against me without a cause. In return for my love, they are my accusers. But I give myself to prayer. Thus they have rewarded me evil for good and hatred for my love." So you see right here, David is listing they are lying about him, there's hate speech, there's false accusation. When he offers them love, they give hatred back, and he feels betrayed. So back to our question, if you were in his position, would you feel your anger was justified? I mean, I would. And I think as I answered that question for myself, it's one of the things that helps me about this psalm, is that it would be easy to think, well, I probably shouldn't be angry, and so I don't want to go and pray angry, right? Well, or maybe I can. So think about it this way. This helps me. A couple of things that we need to know about the Bible and about God. Essentially, what I believe is that God inspired every word of the Bible to be written by these human authors and included. So God has put this here for a reason. And sometimes it's descriptive. Wow, David is angry. Sometimes it's prescriptive, like it's giving us instruction. And so it could be that when we look at something like Psalm 109, we recognize the anger that David has without necessarily saying, go ye therefore and be angry like David. Because in the next part of the psalm, he's pretty intense about what he wants God to do to his enemy because of what his enemy has done to him. And in a sense, it's almost like that would be what the enemy deserves. But here's where the second thing kind of helps me to think about this. The Bible teaches that God is good, God is righteous, and God is holy. And if he really is a good God, he has to deal with evil. He has to put a stop to it. He has to punish it. For God to just look the other way and say, well, we all make mistakes, so do whatever you want, wouldn't be good, right? And so in a sense, what's happening in this psalm is that David is begging God to deal with the evil that he sees around him. Now, you and I know from seeing some of the other psalms, even in this booklet, David has also asked God to deal with the evil in himself. And so that's part of the reality that we wrestle with, knowing that there are bad things in the world around me, and we want God to deal with them. Also knowing that some of the things on this list are things that I've done too. And how do I think about the people that make me angry, the things that make me angry, and tie that to God's mercy that I want for myself? How do I bring that to him in prayer? A friend of mine was telling me a couple of months ago that he works at a bank, and for 2 years they told him, if this position opens up, you are the one getting promoted. Then when that position opened, without talking to him and with no explanation, somebody else got the promotion. He felt lied to. He felt betrayed. He was angry. And I think what this psalm helps me realize, if we just recognize today why we get angry, and we'll come back in the other videos to dig a little deeper into what we do with it, in that moment, honestly, it would be disingenuous for him to go to God and pretend he wasn't angry. And so a little bit of what can help us there is to realize, I wouldn't necessarily say that you have to get out there and pray angry. But the reality is that there are times we feel angry, and we can bring those emotions to God. Have him help us to process them. Even as David said in those verses, I give myself to prayer. So as you think about that today, as we explore that, try to understand why you get angry. Sometimes it's bad things around me. Sometimes it may be a pride issue or some of those other factors that are inside me. But what might it look like to start taking those things to God in prayer? And then next time we'll dig a little deeper into what we do with it. So we'll see you next time.